and welcome to this week's Fibro section. Jazz hands. Right, and here comes, wait for it, the trusted notepad. Excellent. Right, this week I have got a long fibro section. It's like all of this. So, because what I've done is I've combined two fibro sections into one because they're connected. But I might split them and do the same fibro section but in two bits. So one half this week, one half next week. It just depends how long it is. Or I might just do a really long one today. So we shall see. But anyway, this week's fibro section is on support network and relationships. So it's a biggie. There's a lot to get through and there's a lot of tips. And again, I'm going to go for a disclaimer of the fact that this is research. So all the tips and advice is research. I am going to put my own two penneth worth in, as I always do. But if you don't agree with what I say, which is fair enough, it's research. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to help. Okay, so let's start off. Whether you live with family or on your own, having a support network is one of the key ingredients to living well with a long-term illness. Support can take many forms. One is practical help, such as food shopping, housework, etc. A second type is acceptance, feeling believed when you say you are ill, and a final type is understanding, the sense that others know what you are going through. I also think you need a good medical support network, someone who understands what you need. Not like the bad experience I had with a rheumatologist who told me I was just making it all up and if I wanted to get better I could. Lovely. Right, first one is a coach, and I don't mean one you're travelling. It can be especially helpful to have one person who you can turn to for emotional support. That person could be your spouse, a good friend, or a counsellor. Personally, I have a few people for this role. Mainly it's my husband, as you all know, Mark, if you watch my vlogs, but can be one of my two closest friends, and sometimes it's even Twitter, because Twitter is great for emotional support and, you know, someone to be there for you if you're having a really rubbish time of it. So if you haven't joined Twitter, I do recommend it. You can block out all the negative things by adding keywords in your preferences of what you don't want to read about. So sometimes it can be a bit negative and I just scroll through it and I just read the bits that I want to read, basically. So support groups and classes. Support from other people who have your illness can be crucial, what I was just talking about. You feel acknowledged and supported. While social media can be great for support, some can be counteractive and negative, reinforcing a sense of victimhood. I have had that before on Facebook, and I've also had it on an Instagram group that someone joined me to, and I just went off of them because they're just too negative. So be careful which groups you follow, basically, because some can be really negative. This is why on my channel I try to be as positive as possible, but also showing some down moments too for people so that they feel understood. Role models. Another type of support is that provided by people who have accepted and adapted to their illness. They give you hope and encourage you to do the same thing. So again, I hope that that's kind of what part of my channel is about, the fact that I've accepted and I'm dealing with my illness. And I know quite a few of you say to me that you find me inspirational, which really does make me feel good. But I'm glad that you do, because that's, you know, that's all I could hope for. Professional support. Professional help from counsellors to GPs and consultants are a must in your support network. To find a good GP who understands and tries to help find the correct medication and help you with alternative therapies is key, because it's not all about a quick fix with a pill, as most of us with fibro will know. I had a bad experience with a rheumatologist, which I sort of covered at the beginning briefly. I never went back again, but he referred me to the pain management team, who stuck me on a pain management course. Lovely. I've had 2 sets of counselling since becoming ill, and I will link the video above for you of the counselling video. If I didn't have that, I don't think I'd be here today. Quite simply. A survey was completed by over 6,000 people with fibro on support. Over 1 in 4 people reported their partner did not understand their fibro. So let me just go back on that. Over 1 in 4 people reported their partner did not understand their fibro. Half of people said fibro had damaged a current or previous relationship. That's a lot, isn't it? Half of them. And 10% of people said fibro contributed to a breakup, which again is very sad. About half of those surveyed were satisfied with their current partner. And over 70% of people surveyed said they had children who were old enough to understand their fibro. 1 in 3 said their children resented when they couldn't participate in activities with them. 1 in 4 thought they exaggerated their pain. Great. I hope that's not my goals. I don't think it is. How does it affect friendships? Most people surveyed said they had close friends. On the other hand, many people shared that having fibro resulted in losing friends, as friends stopped calling and offering invitations. They didn't know how to react to fibro, and some people said they tried to hide how they were feeling from their friends. Personally, I have lost a couple of friends since getting ill, but some of my friends also showed how great they are, and I am now so much closer to them. So in a way, fibro has given me those close friendships, which, you know, is great. It's a positive of fibro. You might feel guilty and inadequate that you can't invest as much of your time and energy into friendships and relationships. You may feel alone and isolated. It is frustrating to get advice of healthy lifestyle habits or new diets from people who do not understand the illness. How many times have you had someone say, do this, do that, this will help, that will help? How do you know? We're all different. And all these videos that I make for my fibro sections, I always tell you that we're all different and we all react to things in different ways. How I dealt with it is to educate my friends and family, share posts on social media, or send around a message with info about fibro on it. Educate them to try and understand. My advice to people who have friends or relatives with fibro is to tell them how special you still are and how important you are to them. Because that's really important. You don't, you know, you want to feel part of the family still, part of your friendship group. You want to still feel important, even if you can't do all the things that you did before. Just because they turned you down for lunch or a night out, keep inviting them or ask a time of day or an activity which they can do. I've been on both sides. I have. And I know how daunting it is to have a friend with fibro and think they can no longer do anything, which is simply not true. I've been there. I've been on the other side of fibro. I was that friend of someone that had fibro. And it was not that I didn't believe them, but it was just that I didn't realise what they went through, I think. And I just thought they couldn't do anything. I thought they just stayed at home all the time and did nothing. So, and I guess for some maybe that's true, but you need to investigate more. Your friends may feel powerless that they can't help you, and so they turn away. How to cope. Right. So this section of how to cope was going to be in another fibro video, but I think I'm going to try and squeeze it all into this one. I'll try and be quick. How to cope. Offer information on a need-to-know basis. Don't talk about your illness unless it is necessary for maintaining a relationship that you value. Don't feel obligated to educate people you don't know well. Conversations that make you feel defensive or misunderstood do not improve or help. For friends who are truly interested in learning about fibro, download and print information or share as a message, like I said before. Is there love after fibro? There certainly can be. It takes openness, honesty, and courage from both partners. Maintaining a romantic relationship is difficult, even when people are healthy. But when a person falls ill, the strain may be impossible to handle, or it can make the relationship even stronger. So it can go one way or the other. Luckily for us, it's made our relationship stronger, if that's possible. Avoid blame. Even if you don't say it, your partner may feel that he or she is not doing enough for you, or may even feel that he or she is contributing to your illness. You can avoid this by explaining gently that you cannot do things with them rather than attempt to keep up your previous activities, relapsing and then blaming them. So you get a vicious circle. Take the lead by including your partner in planning around your limitations. Be honest. If you're in terrible pain and you need to cry, go ahead, but try not to shut your partner out. Don't be afraid to include them. Acknowledge their help. Your partner may not always know what to do or say to you, but he or she is trying their best to care for you. Say thank you. Let them know how important they are to you. And sometimes I find expressing how I feel really hard, like verbally. So I either text my husband or I leave little messages in his lunchbox. Just little things like that all matter. Ask for help. To reduce the burden on the carer, it is important to ask for help from other sources. This can be as simple as having a friend or other relative help you to clean the house or get some shopping, and it reduces the strain on your relationship. Sexual activity. It's quite a big one actually. I was going to do a separate vlog on this and I might still yet, but anyway, briefly cover it now. So be honest is the main one. Tell them if you're in pain or too tired. Explain it's not them but the illness, so that they still feel loved and wanted. One of the hardest things to bear when you're ill is the effect it has on your children, if you have them. Children depend on their parents. Young children may feel abandoned, they will be frightened and confused. When I got ill, Bobby thought I was dying. She just thought I was going to die. And I didn't know that until I found out from school. So then I could reassure her that I wasn't going to, and you know, I'm still here. It's just I had to explain a bit more about the illness. How to cope. Guilt. Feelings of guilt are inevitable, and I've done a guilt video as well, which I will link above. When you cannot care for your children as you used to, do as much as you can for your children, but only as able. If you overextend yourself, you'll only become more ill and cause a flare-up. So just do what you can when you can. And don't explain too much. If your child is young, they may think the worst and need to be reassured. So explain to them that you're ill as if you had chickenpox or flu. That kind of ill, not life-threatening kind of ill. If they're older, you can explain a bit more. So like my girls are 15 and 18, so obviously they can take a lot more, and sometimes they watch these videos that I make to help them too understand a bit more. So yeah, the older they get, the more you can explain. Be careful not to rely on older children too much, as they still need to know you are in control, and that's quite a big one, I think. Poppy and Holly do a lot for me, but at the end of the day they still know that I'm boss. Show them a great deal of love. Simply holding a young child will help them. Lie with them and listen to them. With older children, ask them how their day has gone or what happened at school. Communication is key. See, I managed to get through all of that in one vlog. Okay, so obviously that's covering your support network and relationships all in one. But I could extend it, I could go on, but I'm trying to keep these vlogs sort of short and sweet, to the point, giving you tips, giving you advice, but so that you're not bombarded with me going blah 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 blah. I hope that might have helped some of you a little bit. If you want to ask me more questions, write them in the comments below. If you've got any advice on support networks and relationships, comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already. I upload on a Wednesday, fibro section, and a Saturday, which is the weekly. So I do a bit of both. I do your education on a Wednesday and I do your entertainment on a Saturday. How's that? I love you all, and I will see you all on Saturday for the weekly. Bye!